Here, playing some Domain Rhinos. It's just a classic Domain deck with the addition of playing the Cascade spell, so you can cascade into Crashing Footfalls and make some big ol' Rhinos. We got Patrick on the right playing some Creativity. Newbie Patrick's going to be on Team TCS Rockets as well, so getting his round one, repping the team here. So let's take a quick look at the decks while they're shuffling up here. Domain Rhinos, typical, so it's got the Violent Outburst and the Charlotte Agents to go into the Crashing Footballs, and then for Leyline of the Guild Packs, Leyline Bindings. He's got 4 Lauren Reveals, and then he's got, Fire and Ice, some counter spells, and then the Scion of Dracos, and then a bunch of One of Lands, so definitely sweet. What is Patrick going on? You got anything spicy for his creativity targets?
Yeah, Patrick actually got nothing creativity targets. Yeah. Got 3 Archon. That's been stock for a while in the deck. Right. Before the deck faded away, and I started slowly coming back. He does have some unique choices though. Main deck, he's got 1 Persist. He's bringing that back. Got a single Transmogrify to act as the 5th copy of Creativity. He's on a Prismari command. He's running 2 copies of Deduce. It's a new spell from recent MKM. 1 in a blue is an instant to draw a card and create a clue token.
Definitely solid. Yeah, I think that feels like it kind of doesn't replace the... oh my gosh, one minute thinking the card. The 1 blue, make a crab and a...
Oh, the single blue...
Why are we playing on that card? It's been a little while since we've seen it.
MH2, yeah. That was the stock, like the core of the deck when it started coming out in Modern. Deck has moved past that a bit. Players looking at their opening hands here. I can see.
I think they did both Mole already. Yeah, Michael keeping his. Looks like we're seeing a. Okay, so no Leyline from Michael here. He's gonna start with.
He's got a Triome in hand. Patrick with some fetches. I see a Spell Pierce in hand.
Yeah, Michael's sitting on double Leyline binding. I saw that in there. It's very confusing when the deck has 2 different Leylines, Leyline Binding and Leyline of the Guild Pack.
You need to be very, very clear in specifying which one you're using there.
Yeah, Leyline, which one? Yeah, he's going to be...
Michael, remembering his Surveil trigger.
Yes, very important. Send on another... So there's a Lauren revealed in there, and then the Tri-Land, the double thing. You draw a Violent Outburst, it's good. It's like a... Suspending a Crashing Footfalls. Doke.
Also, going back to Patrick's list, he's also running one of the Surveil lands. He's got a single Thundering Falls, the blue-red one, in his deck.
Perfect. Those cards are definitely solid.
Yeah, they've been fantastic basically everywhere I've seen them. I think everything I've played against, I believe some people were trying them in Burn, and they didn't stick around there, but that might be the one deck where it didn't stick.
I mean, it would be really sick here to go fetch for my Surveil and Surveil. Oh, look, Archon. Put Archon into the yard. I'll persist it. Like, woo, okay. Yeah. Very low chance of that happening, but would be definitely sick nonetheless. So let's see. We're going to see a draw here. Another Bolt.
Or even a Spell Pierce. Patrick's probably just pretty content to wait for Michael to move.
Oh, yeah.
Just fire off those counter spells.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if we see, Michael's sitting on... Okay, she's gonna cycle Lauren revealed. A Charlotte's Agent here would have been great for Patrick. Like, tap out for my Charlotte's Agent, cascade into Rhinos, reprieve your Rhinos. Like, oof, my gosh.
Or even Spell Pierce that, keep the reprieve for the Outburst Rhinos.
Yeah.
And, be able to just push back that way.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Patrick, though, he's got those counter spells, but he doesn't really have a lot of action in hand.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, Creativity has time. You don't really do anything before turn 4, turn 5.
Yeah.
Like, the deck is very content to just sit back and respond. There's that Thundering Falls in Patrick's deck.
Solid. So good. Love those cards. Definitely solid.
Patrick's got Reprieve, a Leyline Binding, a Spell Pierce, his basic Mountain, and 2 Lightning Bolts. The bolts are kind of dead cards here, unfortunately.
Yeah, not a whole lot. I mean, they do go straight upstairs.
True.
So you just push a little bit of extra damage there, but
yeah, when your Archon attacks for 9, that little bit extra reach goes a long way sometimes. Michael drawing a land.
And we're talking about Michael sitting on essentially double or triple footfalls here with 2 violent outbursts plus the crashing footfalls already in exile. Let's see. Patrick wants to. Patrick is sitting on a bunch of control stuff, which is exactly where he wants to be.
Yes. Getting the tap lands out of the deck right now.
Yeah. Turning on that domain as well at this point. So now,
yes,
the Leyline Binding will only cost 1 mana.
Yeah, third land is huge for Patrick here. Does all of that. Also turns on Dwarven Mines, which kind of gets the creativity engine going for the deck.
Yeah, so good.
Land 4. Michael with the end step outburst.
Cast trade trigger resolves. Oh, didn't go very far down there at all. Spell Pierce. That is fine. The violent outburst, right?
Yeah, of course.
This Rhino's going to 1 now.
Force of Negation for Michael's a big pick up there.
Yeah, I know.
Assuming he has a Garden Hand
from here. Let's see. I mean, I think he's sitting on double binding plus another violent outburst. So, okay, Michael just passed here. Yeah, so you're gonna see another violent outburst. Cascade trigger resolves. Shardless. Yeah. Going pretty deep for this one. Going down. A lot of lands in there, too. This is Scion. There's another Scion. Woo, man. They're in the deck, I promise. There we go. There it is.
Went through 3/4 of the deck at that point.
Right. Yeah, can I take a look at these numerous cards that we passed through?
Basically just a full shuffle.
Yeah.
And Patrick's definitely the kind of player who's going to look through this pile and take note of the numbers.
Oh, yeah.
And
100%.
Use that to do his best to play around what he's expecting Michael to have in hand based on.
Yeah. It's like, I know these are now at the bottom of your deck and not in your hand. And I know what those other cards are now, so. Going to reprieve the footfalls. Ready? Draw. Another land. Alright, see, untap. Casting Rhinos. This is awkward that Patrick's only sitting on 1 white mana at this point, and drawing that Sacred Foundry makes it really awkward. He's going to let the Rhinos resolve. Yeah, because he's got...
Should be his own.
Yes, that was his only fetchable white source.
Yeah.
So Reprieve is currently off, which definitely stinks for him here. All right, he's going to play the one that he got reprieved with. Thinking here. I mean, he can also just double bolt the Rhinos here.
I think that he's thinking about that,
Yeah.
I guess gives Michael the option to spend that force, but it's probably better off being held for a creativity, which Patrick does have in hand.
Yes. Yeah, it is kind of nice with this, the domain version of Rhinos here. Because normally, like, against creativity, like just having your opponent this creativity your Rhinos, and then you just get like a Charlotte's Agent and a Murktide that's a 3/3, and then you're really sad about it. But for this one, like, you can't really do that because he'll be able to go into Scion, or he'll be able to go into, let's see what other actual creatures he has. It's really just Scion, I believe. But going into Scion,
It's definitely risky
great.
now. It's not just like a almost free removal spell.
Yeah, sitting on. Yeah, thinking about shocking here so we can have binding plus reprieve up. I mean, I don't think reprieve is... I mean, he's got 3 footfalls currently accounted for and 2 violent outbursts currently accounted for. I think he saw 2 Charlotte's Agents that are on the bottom, and then the another
3 forces, a few Lorien revealed.
Yeah.
Patrick deciding to take it slow, putting the land in tapped, just passing the turn.
Yeah.
That double bolt definitely gives him some time taking out that Rhino.
Yeah.
Taking 4 is much less than taking 8.
Yes, yeah. Twice as good or half as good?
Depends what side you're on there.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Come on, comes to you. Send with good grip. Move to combat. Attack with my Rhino. seeing the more Naruto tokens. Michael's sitting on Footfalls, the Force. At the double binding still, yeah, Charlotte's Agent looks like. So now he's got a pitch target for Force. Oh, he's going second Rhinos.
Yeah. Spend the Rhinos.
Yeah, it seems totally reasonable here.
And just I hope Patrick doesn't find one of his 2 Teferis
before
that comes down.
Yeah.
Yes. Gotcha.
I think Michael is out of Footfalls at this point, so they're doing a binding here.
Yes, he would be. After one in the graveyard, one got spell pierced, and there's 2 in suspend right now.
Yeah. He's binding in response? What?
Just keeping the Rhino around.
Sure.
Yes. Patrick, he's probably pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Is that a deduce?
Deduce.
Sweet. I dig it.
I know the Pioneer creativity list. They've been going back to. It's been coming back a little bit, going back to the torrential Hulk version, running 4 copies of Deduce.
Yeah. Super sick. I love it. I would just go leave open reprieve here. I mean, now's a good chance because he has to have Force plus blue card in order to do anything with 3 cards in hand. I mean, it's a pretty good opportunity for Patrick to try to creativity this turn.
Yes.
I mean, unbeknownst to him, he does have Force plus blue card plus Leyline Binding, so he can answer everything relatively cleanly. But that seems correct here. So let's see. Yeah, so he's gonna go
going for it. Yep, going, fetching down and grabbing the Dwarven Mine.
Yeah. Did you do it for 1 here?
I think so. I think that's the smart move.
Yeah.
If he does it for more, actually, he doesn't have a way to do it for. Oh, he can hit the Rhino. Just going for 1, hitting this dwarf, trying to get an Archon.
He's gonna force a negation.
Hit Shardless Agent. Got Michael down to 1 card in hand.
Yeah. I mean, you reprieve here. Gonna return it. He's gonna draw from reprieve as a Fable. That's a good draw.
Very good draw.
Creativity still on the stack. Okay, he's gonna let it resolve. He's looking to probably pick off the Archon with the binding instead of just picking off the token. There it is. Sacrifice, gain some life. And this seems totally fine for binding the Archons, just because now Patrick's bindings are now going to turn on an Archon, which is great.
Yeah. Michael's down to just Leyline Binding in hand, having had to discard that Force of Negation.
Yeah.
Patrick had another creativity.
Okay, so he's just gonna see what he's getting here. It's gonna main phase binding. So that is fine. I can do nothing about it. And a fetch land. Okay. So this is good for Patrick now because he's got the. Let's see. Oh, he has another creativity too.
The land there.
Oh, sweet.
Also,
The Deduce and the Fable.
With the land, has the option to deduce and then creativity for 2.
Yeah.
Hitting the clue token and the new dwarf token that he's made.
Yeah.
I think he's just going for 1.
Going for 1. Okay.
Which, unless Michael can do anything to stop, a single Archon will be enough to finish the game next
Oh,
time.
yeah.
The trigger's going to put him to 9, and then the trigger plus 6 damage on combat
Yeah.
will be lethal.
Be a decent amount of damage.
Absolutely. I think Michael's hoping to draw a Leyline Binding at this point.
Yeah.
I think that's his only out right now.
Yeah, I don't think we saw very many of them when he cascaded initially. Did we see any?
I don't.
He does have a fetch land, so even if he did, it wouldn't be as relevant. But I mean, if he saw 0 bindings in those top cards, then I think you just don't fetch because you have a higher chance of drawing it at that point.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things where, like, when you're cascading and trying to get your Rhinos, Michael's cracking the
He's
fetch.
gonna fetch. Okay. Yeah, maybe there was a binding or 2 in there that we didn't quite.
It's like one of those things that, like, it makes a difference if you're looking at it, and like really paying attention to it, but it's just there's so many other things that will matter more and get you bigger percentage points in the match.
Yeah. Even as minor as they are, percentage increase is still a percentage increase.
Yes. And then Michael choosing to grab that surveil land, clearing a basic off the top.
Yeah.
Just hoping for something big here.
Seeing a Magic the Gathering card. Scion does not do it, unfortunately.
Yeah, Michael's scooping it up there.
Going to game 2. All right, so let's take a look at some sideboards here. So Michael sitting on a Dismember, 2 Teferi Time Ravelry, 3 Tishana's Tidebinders, 3 Mystical Disputes, a Subtlety, 2 Endurance, and 3 Force of Vigors. I mean, I'm expecting probably Force of Vigors. Those are actually pretty decent in this matchup, especially with bindings. It kills, you know, any clues or treasure tokens that
shuts down Fable before you start getting more card advantage.
Endurance, I don't think is going to be good here. Subtleties, he's got 3 subtleties in the main. I have a feeling the deck without any creatures is probably going to not get hit very much by subtleties. So
6 planeswalkers.
Yeah, so probably coming out. And then Mystical Disputes are definitely solid in this matchup, like having a 1-mana counterspell for their counterspells. Tidebinder's not too bad either. I mean, shutting down an Archon is just awesome.
Shut down the Dwarven Mind trigger, prevent a creature coming into play anyway with creativity.
Yeah, even Dismember is not too bad here. So she wants to cut. I mean, Fire and Ice is a good tempo card. Gives you an extra turn, puts them off with the 4 or 5 that they needed to creativity. But the subtleties, I presume, coming out. I mean, I feel like this deck doesn't care too much about the planeswalkers, except for like Teferi.
Teferi's the big deal.
Yeah,
you're hoping to get there with any of your creatures, including Shardless Agent.
Yeah,
be able to poke it.
Yeah.
Attack your Teferi. Yeah. Patrick's side. His sideboard, he's got 2 Veil of Summer, 2 Pick Your Poison, 2 Silence, which I'm sure are coming in this matchup.
Oh, yes.
2 Stern Scolding, 2 Change the Equation, which are also likely to come in, just a hard counter. For Crashing Footfalls, a Basic Plains, a Besage, a Terastodon, Elish Norn, Mother of Machines, and the original Elish Norn Grand Cenobite.
I like Elish Norn Grand Cenobite a lot in this matchup. Because your creatures don't really get bigger. Like, Scion doesn't make them larger. They just become really small. 2/2 Rhinos are a lot less threatening than 4/4 Rhinos, especially when your opponent has a 4/7 on board.
The other thing to think about, though, on the other side, with sideboarding a creature package and creativity, is like the great part about your main deck is you know you're getting an Archon. If you add in that 4th creature and you really need that Elish Norn, you hit an Archon, like that might cost you the game.
Yeah.
So you need to sort of commit to a package. Usually.
You gotta do that. I mean, I also think the new Elish Norn, the Mother of Machines, isn't too bad in this. It shuts down the leyline bindings, which is super great.
Stops Tidebinder.
Stops Tidebinders.
Doubles Patrick's Archon ETB or binding effects.
Yeah,
I
believe it also shuts down the it does shut down the surveil lands.
Yeah,
he will not surveil off of them.
Patrick can surveil twice off his 1 Thundering
Yes.
But as far as Patrick's sideboarding goes, he's gonna cut 4 Lightning Bolts. That's like easy cut against Rhinos. You can't kill a 4/4 with 3 damage.
Yeah, he cut those out, and looks like he cut some Wrens as well.
I like that as well. Yeah. Like you're grabbing a land every turn to shock and fetch and shock against 4/4 tramples. No good. You're not gonna speed up the clock.
Get more answers there. Let's see, Patchson on Teferi, Dress Down Fable,
second Teferi.
That seems totally fine here. We got Leyline of the Guild Pact, Fire Ice, Lorn Revealed, Crashing Footfalls, Violent Outburst.
I think that's right.
I think this is a pretty decent hand for both of them here. Michael sitting on
Patrick's the persistent hand as well.
Ooh, and
only
that's persistent.
2 lands there. Patrick doesn't really have anything going on until turn 3.
Let's see. Michael thinks sitting on just 1 land. I mean, he's got 1 land plus Lorien Revealed. He does have Leyline. He does have Fire and Ice too, so being able to cantrip and then so Michael's gonna keep here. He's gonna start with Leyline. He's gonna suspend
footballs off his steam vent. Gotta love Leyline.
Yeah. Okay, so we brought in the Veils. Draw. It's another land.
The Temple Garden, which at this point doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Michael prefers them to not be surveillance or fetches, so he'd put them into play and not pay life and use the mana, but a land is anything at this point for him, so it's low requirements.
Yeah, he's just gonna get a Raffine's Tower and just play it for turn. He's gonna leave no mana, which is totally fine against creativity in the first couple turns.
There's nothing going on.
Yeah, not anything that they're playing in the first couple turns that you really care about.
Patrick taking some time to look for what he's putting in. Just going with the Jetmir's Garden, the Naya Triome.
Okay, I'm gonna go to Patrick's turn here. Drawing creativity. Be a little too late. So, I mean, he's got Teferi, expecting Violent Outburst.
Yeah, Teferi on the draw doesn't usually get you there in this matchup.
So he's gonna play fetch and pass.
Michael responding to the fetch, the Violent Outburst, playing around Reprieve, playing around any other 2-mana counterspell, like in Patrick's case, if he's brought in to solve the equations.
To the footballs. Gonna make some rhinos. I mean, so now, Patrick, are we staving damage? Like, are we just still slamming Teferi next turn, bouncing one of the rhinos, and then you'd be able to go next turn second Teferi, bounce the other rhinos, and then he wouldn't be able to do anything about it. Because he has Fire and Ice, but he wouldn't be able to cast it in time before that other Footfalls goes away.
Yes. It's just gonna...
Surveil, leaving it. I want it, it's mine.
There's the third land.
Alright, perfect. There we go. Prismari command, that's an interesting one too. A lot of options for Patrick. Great. It's nice having options. It's just how do you want to deal with the 2 rhinos that are currently on board and the other 2 rhinos that are coming in turns. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, so this turn right here is going to determine for Patrick how this game is going to play out, I'm guessing. So he has the option of kind high rolling it, which I don't believe would be the right move. Just fire off the Fable, make the treasure token, loot, try and find your 4th land. If you draw an Archon, you can persist that.
Yeah.
Sort of set up for creativity the next turn. Play the Teferi and bounce a Rhino, like Zach was mentioning. You can set up a Fable. Going with Teferi.
So you're going to go with Teferi here. Teferi resolves, bounce a Rhino.
Draw a card.
Because he also needs to hit lands here, which is great. Perfect.
There it is.
Right on time. Never didn't have it. And then, so now this also sets up, so either Michael has to spend a card this turn in order to kill Teferi. So, like, he could Fire and Ice, 1-1 you, and then kill Teferi and then attack for 4. Or he could just attack Teferi for 4, and then, like, Fire Ice and upkeep. So, no, he's going to 1-1.
Fire Ice.
Okay. Yeah, so he's going to do that and then just beat for 4.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what Patrick wants to do this next turn. Because he does have that other Teferi. So, I mean, Teferi here is also very good. That a deduce.
Michael's sitting on Leyline Binding Lorien Revealed, if I saw the cards correctly.
I think fetch. Looks like he brought in the Elishnorn, the Mother Machines. I think it's great. It also makes your Leyline Bindings blank rhinos, which is so great. And just like, oh, I'm going to Teferi, I'm going to bounce my own Leyline Bindings since I exiled tokens.
So you take out both rhinos with a single card, get it back in your hand to Teferi, the opponent doesn't get the card back. It's...
Oh, and he brought back 7-drop Elishnorn too. I love it.
And he's got an Archon too.
Oh.
So he's kind of mixed and matched here for his creativity package.
Yeah, just happy with whatever you get. We'll see here. So it looks like he's, I think he's thinking Teferi this turn, and then leaving up the Veil of Summer just in case Mike has a counterspell. Yeah, so we're going to go with the Teferi here. We're going to get rid of the other rhinos.
Bouncing the rhinos, stop that other one from coming down.
Yeah, I think Michael Leyline binding during his turn is totally fine. You got rid of the crashing footfall, so you don't really care at that point. Just gonna fetch.
Just 3 mana for a counter spell and creature removal.
Yeah.
Is pretty good rate for
Totally fine.
and drawing a card.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna get another Surveil land for Michael here. Trying to dig him for some answers here. I mean, he's got a pretty decent amount of stuff going on. It's just getting more action. So let's see what he's gonna Surveil here. He's gonna keep it. I haven't seen any Scions from Michael this game. That would be definitely solid for him.
Scion would be a potentially helpful, depending on what Patrick hits off his creativity.
It's true. So we'll see. Yeah, Crushing Footfall is just gonna stay in exile. That's gonna be his own Teferi. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, interesting choice.
Just the
he's
Teferi
got a one mana binding still, so you can still Teferi binding Patrick's Teferi.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially Patrick leaving up the not wrong land, but he's leaving open for Veil because he got Spell Pierce in hand, so kind of unfortunate. But we'll see.
I think making sure that Teferi resolved was the correct play there.
Yeah.
So Patrick took the right choice and ended up getting caught on the bad end of variance there, but just choosing to cycle the Veil response to the Teferi cast.
Yeah. So Patrick's just gonna cycle Veil here.
And a deuce.
So you can
Michael minusing Teferi on nothing, drawing a basic land.
and he's just gonna pass here.
So I was incorrect about Michael's hand.
Yeah.
That was a Temple Garden.
Temple Garden, yeah. Temple Garden and a Leyline binding.
Yes.
So yeah, I think we're just gonna see possibly just a creativity for one here. I mean, there's a lot of if he just gets Mother Machines here, then I think the game's essentially
That
over.
probably just locks it out.
Yeah.
Pretty easily.
Yeah, because the next turn he would be able to go Fable, and then he can also just fetch into 2 dudes, and I think he has 2 creativities in hand currently. So it's like, oh my gosh. Yes,
2 creativities and a Fable. So yeah, Patrick's got a lot of action that's going to put pressure on Michael here. Michael's down to 2 cards, and one of them's basic land.
All right. It's probably not the Elishnorn you really wanted to hit, but here we are.
So gets the binding out of Michael's hand.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and then Patrick definitely has more answers to binding in his deck than Michael does. Okay, so let's see what Michael's going to get here. You got a spell? You're going to just see plus, play planes. Just going to bind that Elishnorn. Get out of here. I don't want to see it no more. Nom nom nom. All right, now it's the Teferi hangout mode.
Yeah, the fun mode of playing Hearthstone.
Yeah,
no one gets to do anything on their opponent's turn.
Super fantastic. We just get to chill out here, just dealing with each other's threats at sorcery speed, looking at each other's Teferis. I think he's gonna Prismari command
kill
and just
the
kill the
Teferi?
Teferi. Yeah. He's maybe make a treasure token here too. Another land draw. That's the other part of Michael's hand. Not great. Looking for some action. Just gonna treasure. Oh no, he's gonna treasure and draw 2, discard 2.
Interesting.
Okay.
Card spell. I like getting rid of the spell pierce here. Michael's got 6 lands in play.
Yeah. Not counting anything at this point.
Even if the Teferi goes, it's still 6 lands.
Yeah.
So that's not happening here.
Yeah. How about that? I mean, maybe we just see. Okay. He's looking for another blue and just
Fable into play?
4 mana. He is fetching. Creativity the
dwarf is made.
Alright, let's see what we're hitting. Archon. Mother Machines. Archon.
There's Archon.
Alright.
Patrick kind of gambling on that creativity, hitting a removal spell for the Teferi instead of pointing the Prismari command at it.
Yeah.
Now Michael's discarding that land. no cards in hand. Patrick's drawing up to 5 or 6 right now.
Yeah.
Drawing up to 5.
Michael Hellbent here. Not a land draw. Not a land draw. Starless Agent. Starless Agent doesn't help a lot. Silence great here.
Silence pretty nice.
Silence fine.
Not great in the face of Archon.
No.
Creature's good, but not when you have a built-in edict with your attack.
Yeah.
You pay $5.
I mean, is Michael just dead here?
I don't think Patrick has the last bit of damage, but
We can go put him at 11. Because what he could do in theory is he can go silence, bounce your binding, get my Elish Norn back, attack you for 11.
Yeah.
Put you to 2. But that's not quite.
Patrick can just sort of sit here. He's got an inevitability.
Just gonna play Fable. I think there's any draw for Michael that gets out of this. A Violent Outburst. Yeah, let's go fist bump. Oof, some rough draws for Michael.
Rough draws for Michael. Very good showing of the creativity deck on Patrick's side.
Oh yeah, yeah. Definitely solid. Kind of shows, I mean, I guess it's also kind of an Archon is very good when your opponent has one creature. Or one planeswalker. They only have one option to sack is definitely good. Yeah, looks like he did bring in endurances. And then he did bring in the Tide Miners.
Flash threats, let you block an Archon, pressure to Fairy.
Yeah. Yeah. Not too bad for sure.
It's not actively doing anything you really want to be doing in the matchup, but it just it's another body that you can put in play through something that's going to shut down your Crashing Footfalls.
True.
The Fairies and Tidebinders, like I mentioned.
Yeah. I mean, it is also not the minor EV of, my opponent just countered a bunch of my Crashing Footfalls. Let's just put them all back in my deck. Like just shuffling them back after your opponent just falls up with Counterspell plus Counterspell plus Counterspell. So.
And Patrick brought in the single Elish Norn, 2 silences, 2 Veil of Summers, cut Lightning Bolts, 1 Run and 6 was his 5 for 5 there.
Yeah. That seems good. Yeah, get behind that.
Also was probably a good indicator why Patrick just snapped off that second creativity after the Elish Norn was out, because he knew he was hitting Archon.
Yeah, because he knew what was going to be happening. So, yeah. Well, solid games. Yeah, sorry for Michael for not drawing super well those games, but I mean, we did get to see the sweet turn 1 Leyline, and I don't really care what my mana's doing because it's everything.
Exactly. Yeah.
So definitely super cool. So that's going to be our round 2. Next round we're going to see if we can get you guys how many rounds we're doing today. We're going to be doing those number of rounds plus a cut to top 8, getting some points here for players. We got a couple players right on the cusp from making top 16 for the tournament later on this month, so we'll see if they can squeak in there and get the number of points they need in order to move on. And then we will see you guys in just a little bit. Please don't go anywhere and hang around.